Hi everyone, it's Karen McLaughlin, certified personal trainer here in Hamilton, Ontario, here with you for my Tuesdays at 2 Facebook Live broadcast. Today I'm going to be talking about a really common mental error that I see a lot of my clients making really often: all or nothing thinking. And this is one of the big factors that keeps people from achieving their goals. And I thought I'd start out by sharing how I almost didn't do this Facebook Live video today because of all or nothing thinking. I volunteer on the board of a local organization, and last night we had just a brutal meeting. I'm talking 4+ hours, really difficult discussion, completely exhausting. I got home after 10:30 last night, which is past my bedtime, and I was pretty strung out. I couldn't sleep, and so I didn't fall asleep until after midnight. And so I woke up this morning just feeling totally out of sorts. It was one of those days where I could easily just let everything go completely to hell. To be honest, I just didn't feel like doing anything when I got up, and I was, my brain started going, oh, maybe I won't do my Facebook Live today. Who's gonna notice? No one's gonna care if you don't do it. And this is the kind of thinking that is really sneaky and subtle, because it's easy to talk yourself into thinking no one's going to care if I do it or I don't do it. But the problem is, we think, oh, I've got to do the best thing every time. And so I went, wait a minute, I don't have to do the best Facebook Live video that's ever been done. I don't have to do the best one I've ever done. I just have to show up for a few minutes and share one little useful thing with you guys. And get over yourself, Karen, you can do that. So, that was a sort of more subtle way that can happen. But where I see it happen a lot is with people's diet and exercise goals. And I'm just gonna take a quick example from each one of those. So with exercise, so often I see it happen that when people don't have time to do the full program that I set out for them, it's easy to say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it the next day. I don't have time to do any exercise today. And whenever you catch yourself in that kind of thinking, just stop for a minute. That's your all or nothing thinking. I don't have time to exercise for an hour, so I'm going to do nothing. All or nothing thinking. And it's killer. It gets us in every area of our life, If you're a writer, you think, oh, I can't write for 2 hours. I don't have anything to say. I'm just not going to do anything at all. It's so common. We want to do it with everything. And this is how we fall down, because if you've been listening to me for like more than 10 seconds, I talk about habits constantly. And so all or nothing thinking leads us to doing nothing, which is a habit killer. So how do you keep a habit established? You keep going and you just do something, even if it's really little. So with exercise, you know what? If you don't have an hour today, I totally get it. But that's not an excuse for doing nothing. And I'm constantly telling people this. So yeah, I don't feel like working out for an hour today. I'm tired and I'm kind of cranky, to be honest with you. But does that let me off the hook and let me do nothing? No. There's always something you can do. Unless I'm like totally in bed and I can barely move, like there's no excuse for me to do nothing. Unless I'm super, super sick, I can at least go outside and walk for 5 or 10 minutes and do a few squats and a little bit of shoulder mobility work. So don't let yourself fall into this trap. I know you're busy. You have these days where nothing goes right. You have a 4-hour board meeting. I hear you. But you still can do something, no matter how small. So that's what keeps you going and gets you bust out of this rut. So yeah, you don't have time to do your hour workout or you're not up to it physically. That's totally acceptable. Go do something. I don't care what. Well, don't do something stupid and hurt yourself. I do care if you do that. So get out there, walk for 5 minutes, do a few squats, like I said. Do whatever you can, even if it's just a few minutes. And then maybe you might find you have another 5 or 10 minutes later in the day and you can do it again. So don't use that I don't have an hour to work out thing to let yourself off the hook. It's not going to fly with me, okay? So that's the exercise one. You always have the time and the ability to do just a little bit. And that's how you build it. Doing a little bit every day is way, way, way better than doing an hour once every 2 weeks. And that's what usually happens when you fall into the all or nothing thing. So a little bit goes a long way. Just remember that. With diet, what I see people doing time and time again is, I screwed up and I ate a donut and a mocha for breakfast. The whole day is ruined. I might as well just go for broke. All or nothing thinking. I blew it, so now I'm just gonna, eat whatever the heck I want for the whole rest of the day. Yeah, you know what? This is super common, and I don't want to see you doing this because every choice you make matters. So we're all human. We all screw up more often than we want to admit. But so what? You just acknowledge it. Don't beat yourself up. Get back on the horse. Make the better choice next time. Because again, this is all about habits, right? I can't go 3 minutes without saying the H word, can I? But this is how we create change in our lives. So yeah, we all do it. I still do it every once in a while. Yeah, not very often, but I still eat something that I regret occasionally. But I don't spend 3 hours beating myself up about it and then let that be an excuse to eat crappy for the rest of the day or the week or the year or whatever the case may be. You just acknowledge that you made a choice you wish you hadn't, and then you move on. So it's really about just starting fresh every time. Every choice is a new one, and you have the ability to make a better choice next time. But you're going to be less likely to make a better choice if you're still beating yourself up for the bad one that you made earlier. So I don't care what you ate for breakfast. Concentrate on what you're going to eat next and what a better choice is. That's breaking out of all or nothing thinking. Because I just see this with diet in particular just spiral out of control. It's I blew it for breakfast. I might as well just eat like crap for the rest of the day. And then it's you do that for 2 days and it's I might as well do that for the rest of the week now. And then it's the whole week's gone. I might as well, it's almost the end of the month. I'll just eat bad for the rest of the month. And it just spirals out of control. And that's how that all or nothing thinking can just be insidious and just totally sabotage our entire thought process and all of our goals. So every time you catch yourself doing this, just stop. Take a few deep breaths, okay? Whatever you did that you regret, just forgive yourself. And the other valuable thing you can do is to make it a learning experience instead of something that you're going to beat yourself up over forever, is just take a couple minutes to even think, how did that even happen and how could that go differently next time? Because that's another way we learn and create positive change. It's if you know what happened to make you do the thing that you're now wishing you hadn't, or eaten the thing that you now wish that you hadn't. Spend a couple minutes in some self-reflection and think, how could I have done that differently? It's interesting because I've never been a massive donut fan, but I have eaten them, and there was a point where I just realized it's an instinct, if everybody says let's go out, or grab a donut and a coffee or whatever, and you do it, or they're everywhere. I live in Canada. I live in Hamilton. We're the Tim Hortons capital of the universe. Store One, right here on Ottawa Street. Come visit me and I'll take you there. Anyway, so there's a lot of donuts in my city. There's 4 Tim Hortons, I think, within like a 2-kilometer radius. No, I bet you there's 6 or 8. I don't know. There's a lot of Tim Hortons within a couple kilometer radius of my house. I'm surrounded by donuts. And finally I realized I didn't eat them that often, but one day I was like, you know what? I don't even enjoy this. This isn't really that good. And I just thought, you know what? I'm not going to eat these anymore. Because there's something in my brain that thinks I want one and they look good. And if it's, so we go anywhere, any social event around here, there's probably going to be a box of Timbits or donuts. And it's sort of like they're there. It's really easy to reach for one. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't really like these anymore. I think I'm just not going to eat them. And so that was a process for me that came out of, and I'm not a huge sweet eater, but I do like a little sugary snack every once in a while. I'm not totally immune to it, but I just decided, no, this is totally not worth it to me anymore. So those are the kind of things when you have that moment and you eat something and you really wish, oh, I wish I didn't do that. A little bit of self-reflection can go a long way to realizing what choice you want to make next time. And the choice is not, man, I screwed up. I'm just going to blitz through the whole dozen donuts now because I ate one. Or I'm just going to eat like terribly for the rest of the day because I ate one thing that I didn't want to. Please, please, please. It's a very common little mental error, and I don't know why it's so common, but it really is. And like I just shared, I caught myself not doing it with food today, but I definitely caught myself doing it. It's the ultimate excuse, all or nothing thinking. I guess that's why it's so easy. I blew one little thing, or I don't feel like doing the whole greatest thing ever, so I'm just not going to do anything, or I'm just going to eat it, whatever. Every moment, you can just step back and make a different choice. So, no matter what you eat for breakfast, even if you blew it at breakfast and lunch, tonight you can still have a great dinner, okay? You still have the power to choose something different for the next time. So don't try to convince yourself otherwise. Don't fall into this little trap. Because every single time you make the better choice, it makes it easier to make the better choice the next time. That is the awesome thing about this. So the all or nothing thinking keeps you stuck in the loop of not being able to move on and to make those really small, I talk about this all the time too. Don't think small choices aren't powerful, because they are. So that's another trick that we do with exercise. I don't have time for the kick-ass hero workout, so I'm just not going to do anything. Because how much is that little 5-minute walk or those few squats really going to matter? You know what? It matters a lot. The power of that done over and over and over again is unbelievable. Especially because it's a lot easier to do that over and over again than it is to do the hero workout. That's not happening, right? For most of you. Maybe once a week, or once every 2 weeks, or once a month, So forget about it. Focus on what you can do right now that's positive. Forget about the big heroics on those days when you're just not up to it. And just go for the small wins. And don't talk yourself out of it, okay? Because they add up and they're powerful. And at the end of the day, those little baby things can change your life. Truly they can. And mostly because it's the power of consistency and the power of building a new habit. Okay? So do not let the all or nothing thinking ruin your success. You don't need to fall into the trap. And of course, if you do fall into it, and then don't beat yourself up about that either, just realize you did it and realize how not to do it next time. Okay? I think that is actually all I have to say for today, amazingly enough, because I am kind of tired and cranky. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave me a comment underneath the video, or email me yourfitnessgroove@gmail.com, or connect with me on Twitter if you like Twitter better than Facebook, but you probably like Facebook since you're here watching me. Anyway, I always love to hear from you. Either you have a question, a comment, a challenge that you're struggling with, I'd be happy to help you out. Okay? So I think that's it for this week, and I will be back again next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And as always, I don't know what I'm going to talk about yet. It's always a surprise. But you know what? If you sign up for my email list, I always do send out the day before an email about what my topic is going to be for the next day, because believe it or not, I actually decide at least 24 hours in advance what I'm going to talk about. So I will put a link to the page where you can subscribe if you want to be in the know about upcoming Facebook Live topics. And please, if you have suggestions, please feel free to share those with me too, because I want to share stuff that's helpful for you, and so if you tell me what you need, then I can hopefully deliver that. Okay? Alright guys, onward, upward, don't fall for the all or nothing thinking. Okay? Take it easy, and I'll see you next Tuesday at 2.